Hello, friends. We're starting a new poem, Hyperion, a fragment by John Keats. This poem he began October 1818, while he was nursing his brother Tom, who was seriously ill. He succumbed to his injuries and his disease in December the same year, 1818. Next year, April 1819, Keats finished this poem, Hyperion, though it is better to say that he left it unfinished because he completed two books and one half book. Therefore, he completed total of two and a half books of Hyperion. His intention was to write an epic, the style of Paradise Lost, and complete 12 books. But he did two complete books and one half book. After completing this work, he shifted to his odes. And we know Keats' six odes are very famous, including Ode to Nightingale, Ode to Grecian Urn, which he did in summers of 1819. So remember this thing, he did Hyperion, completed Hyperion in 1819. He did his six odes in 1819, and then he shifted to The Fall of Hyperion, which eventually was published posthumously 1856. So all the three works are done in the year 1819, and this was one of the questions asked in the net as well, that which year was the most productive year for Keats as far as his poetic writings were concerned. So now you know it is 1819. Please don't forget that. Now let's see what is the theme of this poem. The war between Titans, the earlier generation of gods, and the later Olympians who overthrew them. So there are two sets of gods. The earlier were the Titans who have been defeated by Olympians. The Olympians, in fact, are the offsprings of Titans only. The Titans were the parents and the Olympians were the offsprings. The Titans were headed by Satan, who is the fallen king. Okay, then comes Hyperion, who still is undefeated and still is the sun god. The god of the sun is Hyperion. But remember, when the poem begins, he is still undefeated. Oceanus, who was the sea god. So these three are the important gods of Titans, who two of them have been defeated now, and just one god remains, and that is Hyperion, who still is undefeated. On the side of Olympians, the new god of the king of gods is Zeus, or Jove, or Jupiter, who in fact is the son of Saturn only, but has overcome his father and has become the new god. He is the god who is holding thunder, the weapon of thunder in his hand. The next is Apollo, who eventually will be the new sun god, but as of now he is not. He is also the god of poetry and of music. Then the new god of sea is Neptune, who has replaced Oceanus as the new god. Very important speech will be made by Oceanus, which underlines, or which is the important, very most important, the crux of this poetry, and that is the change is a very natural thing and it is inevitable. Change will either will be evolutionary, a gradual change, or revolutionary or sudden change, but it will always be for the betterment. The new set of gods, this is said by Oceanus, remember. The new set of gods, who are represented by Zeus or Jupiter, they are much more superior to us. They are much more beautiful. And when I say beautiful, beauty for Keats is always truth. Okay, so they are much more truthful, they are much more beautiful, and they deserve to be where they are right now. Okay, and this is very natural process. So this is the crux of the thing, and when we'll reach Olympus Oceanus speech, then we are going to focus more on it. There's a strong influence of Milton on uh, Keats. His work Paradise Lost is an epic written in blank verses. Hyperion of John Keats is also an epic, though an uncompleted epic written in blank verses. In Paradise Lost, there are fallen angels and they are outcast, thrown into the depth of the hell. Titans have also been defeated by Olympians, and Saturn, their leader, is hiding in a valley. They are all scattered all across and hiding in different places, the Titans. Then in the book 2 of Paradise Lost, there is a council led by Satan, and there are other fallen angels as well, and they are discussing how to regain their lost paradise. In this Hyperion as well, there will be a council in which uh, the fallen titans, they are going to also discuss how they are going to defeat Olympians and regain the seed that they have lost. Then epic always starts in medias res, or in the middle of the thing. Titans have already been defeated, this has already taken place, and in Milton's Paradise Lost also the angels of the Satan had already been defeated. Okay, so things started in the middle of the thing. Then there are epic similes in Paradise Lost, there are epic similes in Hyperion as well, which we are going to do eventually. Now, if uh, it was such an important work, which Keats himself says, Hyperion, then why did he leave it? So, according to the publisher, the hostile reception given to Endymion, which was an earlier work of Keats, discouraged Keats, and therefore he left this work also. Keats himself said that he gave it up because of the excessive Miltonism of the style. So his style was much more closer to that of Milton, excessive of that. There were too many Miltonic inversions in it. This is the statement of Keats, and therefore he left it. Okay, so by this we have completed the introduction of Hyperion, a fragment, and now we are going to start line by line. So we are starting book one, and as we know that the epic starts in medias res, that means in the middle of the things. So already Titans have been defeated by Olympians. The king Satan now at present is in a deep valley. Is hiding somewhere. Is resting after the defeat in a deep valley. Okay, the whole of the atmosphere here is of isolation, of dejection, of gloom and sadness. Right. So let's start with the poem. Deep in the shady sadness of a vale. So, in a valley which is deep, which is isolated, and it is shady, thickly covered with forest, and there is sadness obviously in the whole of the atmosphere. Far sunken from the healthy breath of morn. So, the morning breeze is a very refreshing breeze. Okay, but that breeze does not come here in this deep valley because it is a completely isolated place. Far from the fairy noon, the sun which shines very brightly in the morning, in the afternoon, that light also does not reach in this deep valley. And eve's one star, and the evening star, that is Venus, its light also does not fall here. In this isolated and gloomy place sat grey-haired Saturn. The Saturn, the defeated Titan king, who is now is called gray-haired because he is now old, quiet as a stone. So just like stone is, if a stone is there, it's completely quiet. Saturn also sat quietly, still as the silence round about his lair. So round about his lair means his place where he is sitting. There is complete silence. Similarly, silent was Saturn also. Forest on forest hung above his head, like cloud on cloud. So we can find in the sky there are clouds, and above them there are still clouds, and above them there are still more clouds. Similarly, there were forests, and there were forests, and then there were forests. So such a thick forest cover area and isolated area, and deep and dark area was the area in which Satan was lying. No stir of air was there. So air was also not stirring. It was there, air was there, but it was not stirring. It was not moving here. Not so much life as on a summer's day robs not one light seed from the feather's grass, but where the dead leaf fell, there did it rest. So generally, what happens in summer, there is no movement of air. So if the seed is falling from the tree down on the earth, or the leaf is falling down on the earth, then they will remain in the place where they have fallen because there is no wind to carry them away. But where the dead leaf fell, there did it stay. Right? A stream went voiceless by, still dreaded more by reason of his fallen divinity, spreading a shade. So where Satan was lying, there was a stream, and the stream was noiseless, but it was not producing any sound. Noiseless was further deepened because of the downfall of great God. So because Satan was there, therefore the stream was producing no sound, whose presence there spread a shadow of sadness around him. right? So even the stream was there, but it was producing no sound. The naiad, mid her reeds, pressed her cold finger closer to her lips. And in the stream there was a naiad, means water nymph, who was living in the stream, and there were reeds also, or the water, the grasses that grow in the stream. And from there she pressed her cold finger closer to her lips, as if to command to the ripples that were produced in the stream to be quiet. Just as the teachers, whenever a person comes to visit the class, teacher will say quiet to the students just by pressing her finger closer to her lips. Similarly, Naiad or the water nymph is also commanding the reeds to be quiet. So, in this first 14 lines, the whole atmosphere is of gloom, sadness. There is silence, there is stillness around Satan. The winds are not moving, even the streams are producing no sound. Right? So, we'll continue in the next video. Thank you.